Hi everybody, Brian here, and I'm here to talk about something really cool. So this last weekend, my band played a show out in Moore Park, and my friend Jose showed up. And after our first set, Jose came up to me and said, "I have something for you." And he gave me this. It's a Beatles bootleg, and it's called "Almost Grown," and it's got this cool picture. Let me get a little closer to show you there. And it's the Beatles standing in front of John's Rolls Royce. And so what this is, it's a bootleg of songs the Beatles recorded during the Get Back sessions, or as it later became known, the Let It Be album. And this is, I have a bunch of the Let It Be session, Get Back session bootlegs. And this one is hands down my favorite one. I'll tell you why. It's got all the usual songs you hear on a lot of the bootlegs, but they're different versions I've never even heard of some of them. And they're all like really early versions. Like the song, so side one kicks off with "Get Back." There's the back cover, by the way. It's a cool shot. Beatles during the White Album period. So the first side starts off with "Get Back," but it's like a really early version of "Get Back." So they're just kind of working out, just starting with the riff, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and you can tell where they're going with the song. So it's really cool to hear that version of "Get Back." Then the next couple songs are all covers. And the first one is "Bad Boy." And of course, "Bad Boy" is a Larry Williams song that they recorded in 65, I think. And it was on the Beatles' sixth album in America. And it was on the collection of Beatles oldies in England. But during this one, it's during the Get Back sessions, and they're doing "Bad Boy." And it's cool to hear them do that because it's a lot different, a lot more ragged, but very interesting all the same. Then they do "Sweet Little 16" and "Around and Around," which are both Chuck Berry songs. And they did "Sweet Little 16" at the BBC, and that's on the Live at the BBC album. You can get that version. And this version's pretty loose and pretty ragged, like almost all the Get Back Sessions versions are, but it's really cool to hear them doing it in 1969, because it's quite different. Then the coolest song on this album, I think, is a song called "Madman," and I think it's a finished song that John had, because it has a set of lyrics that he repeats over and over again, but the music sounds a lot like "Mean Mr. Mustard" that eventually appeared on Abbey Road. But this version of "Madman," I did some research, and it was recorded the day that George Harrison quit the Beatles during the Get Back sessions. So George quit, and when he quit, the three other Beatles showed up the next day. So John, Paul, and Ringo, and they attempted to play some music, but from what I've read, it wasn't very productive, except for the song "Madman." And on this song, you have John playing the organ, and then Paul was playing guitar. So Paul's playing all the leads on that, and then of course Ringo's playing drums. But "Madman," it's very much unfinished, and it's kind of a jam, but it's really cool. And if you haven't heard it, it's, especially if you're like a Beatle freak and you just want more Beatle material, "Madman" is really going to please you because it's such a cool song. And it makes this album totally worth having just for that one song. But there's other amazing songs on this as well. Then on side two, you have the Beatles running through "One After 909," which was on the Let It Be album. And this is a totally different version. It's a little bit more rockin', a little bit more loose, but really fun to hear. Then my second favorite song on this, "All Things Must Pass," which is, of course, a George Harrison song that he released as his first solo album that was named "All Things Must Pass." But this is a version recorded with all the Beatles trying to do a band arrangement. You have John and Paul on harmonies, George singing lead, and there's full drums, full guitars, bass. It sounds really cool. It's ragged, of course, again, but it's really awesome to hear what the Beatles may have done with the song had they actually properly recorded it. On the anthology, Beatles Anthology 3, you can hear a solo version that George Harrison did of "All Things Must Pass." But this version on this bootleg is really cool and worth hearing. Then the next song is "Across the Universe." And this is like totally, you can tell they're just working it out. It's totally stripped down. And I find the most interesting thing about this is that right before they're playing it, you hear Paul is experimenting with like elongating the words. So it's like instead of like the usual like woods are flowing out like that pace, Paul is singing it like woods are flowing out, and you hear John say, no, 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 that would make it too long. So it's interesting that what may have happened with all these with Across Universes, that it may have been a super long song, you know, but John didn't let that happen. And then there's a song called That Must Be My Girl, and it's just kind of like a jam, I think, because I've never really heard that song before. And then it ends with them working on the song Let It Be. And this version, Let It Be, it's very, very stripped bare, but it's really cool to listen to because Ringo's playing this like shuffle drum beat that wasn't the beat they used on the real song, but it kind of works. And Paul is just kind of scatting a lot of the words and trying to feel his way through the song. Anyway, this bootleg, Almost Grown, is really rad. And I got to thank Jose for hooking me up with this because it's so cool and I really, really like it a lot. And I'll be listening to it a whole bunch. And like I said, I have a whole bunch of other Beatle bootlegs from the Get Back, Let It Be sessions. And I listen to them occasionally, but this is one of the ones that I think I'll listen to a lot more than just, you know, pull it out once, listen to it, put it back. This is like a multiple listen record because it's got, like I said, so many interesting bits, and for the fact that it has Madman and All Things Must Pass, I'll always come back to those two. Oh, I didn't show you the actual vinyl, so I'll do that now. Oh, another cool thing, it comes in this plastic that's like this, like the old Columbia records used to come with. It's kind of cool. And here is the vinyl. It's green. And it says Sweet Little Boys on it. Which is kind of funny, but it's just is what it is, right? Same thing on the side too. But yeah, it sounds great. And if you ever see it, pick it up because it's worth checking out. All right, that's the video for Almost Grown, the Beatles. Yeah.